Neal, we are live on MPW Digital, McCready and Siskey, episode 177, brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. We're going to get to you in a second. While I'm going to get the links out and all that stuff since we got everything going. While I'm doing that, why don't you tell the how we left you last night with our good friend Johnny at the bar? what what happened between our good friend Johnny at the bar and looks like you're gorging on some lunch there.
Yeah, so I'm in Fairbanks right now. I'm at Salty's on Second.
Okay.
I'll give you a tour of Salty's on Second real quick.
Oh, please do. Oh, nice bar.
Yeah, it's a cool bar. Um, let's see. You asked about Johnny last night. I left before Johnny left. I went back to the hotel. Um, I got a couple slices of pizza. Went back to the hotel. Slept like maybe 3 hours, and then my my internal alarm clock told me it was 6 a.m. It was actually 3 a.m. Um, but I got up and started sort of exploring everything, and then ended up going out to can't remember the name of the place. It was like a lake. It was really beautiful. It was gorgeous. I was going to just go for a walk, and I went for a really long walk. If I'm honest, I got a little lost. Did some jogging, and then I heard this big splash, and I looked at the water, and I'm 99% sure it was an otter, but the 1% of it being a bear scared me, and so got I got a I got a little extra run in. I ran a little bit more than Dr. Moore wanted me to run. So, but it was fear motivated. So did that. I went to the Santa Claus house that you wanted me to go to. I went to the supermarket like you told me to.
All right, how were the prices at the supermarket?
It was about the same. The whole supermarket thing was kind of disappointing because I was expecting a lot of contrast, and
This was
I felt
I
like
was I was
I
doing
felt
that
like
for
I
the
was at
fans.
Piggly Wiggly in Batesville.
Yeah, I was doing that for the fans. Somebody asked it. I thought, hey, that could be interesting. I didn't know how much it was how much it was fired up and ready to go if it was different. Did we find Santa Claus?
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there. They said he might be there much later in the day, but he wasn't there this morning. There's a That's a huge store, man. I mean, if you can't find an ornament that you like in that store, you just don't like ornaments.
Well, so I'm assuming there was no photos of or paintings of Mrs. Claus in the in the Santa store.
I did not see the Bob Ross
No,
Mrs. Claus
Bob.
painting.
Okay, all right. Hey, so Johnny's becoming a McCready. I think Johnny's going to be a McCready and Siskey first ballot Hall of Famer guest.
Johnny had he was he was having beers, but with every beer he was having a shot of bourbon, and it was it was having its impact.
From the first time he started his story to the infamous "you have big feet" moment, which was on the whole show wasn't but 50 minutes. So in that 30 minute range, he went downhill pretty quick, really quick.
100%,
Yeah. So
100%.
he was he was great. So all right, so we're gonna do a short show here, and then we'll turn around and do. You want to do one at the airport tonight when you get there?
Yeah.
All right,
So
so it's time. It's time as you crush your fish and chips. What did you order? Tell the fans what you got there.
we got halibut and chips.
We got to see it, man. What we crushing? Let's see
Oh,
what we're
sorry.
crushing. Oh, that looks good, man.
It's good.
Let's go. Does it feel like
Good.
fresh fish?
Yeah, it's good. You can tell it's fresh. I'm a fish and chips guy. I love fish and chips.
Does it feel
One
like
of my
you're?
favorite things.
Does it feel like you're back in Mobile with a little fish and chips?
You know what's funny is like in Mobile they didn't really do fish and chips because it was more like fried shrimp and stuff. Isn't that funny that they never
Yeah,
really did a fish and chips take? Now
they
that I
just
think
had
about that,
yeah, because you know like Felix's they did dishes with fish, right? Like stuffed
yeah, yeah.
flounder and all that stuff. So I guess
And
yeah, I
so I
mean
guess it kind of was fish and chips, but they didn't really call it that.
yeah.
And so you didn't think about it being that.
Well, did
It's interesting.
Talbot was wanting to know is did Johnny make it out alive last night? Do you know? Was he in good shape when you left? A lot of concern about Johnny.
He was okay when I left. I don't know whether he made it out. I assume he did. I hope he did. But he was going to be there longer than I was.
Yeah, we had some listeners that were very concerned that seemed like Johnny's story wasn't adding up, and it almost seemed like he was running from the law.
Yeah, there were parts of Johnny's story that were mismatched,
Yeah,
but I
I
wasn't about
was.
to say anything. He was also a very touchy. He
I could
touched a
see
lot,
that. I could see
and
that.
that's not my favorite thing. And so I was kind of get away a little.
Yeah, I could see that. I was. He's a little touchy, and he had some legal issues. He went from playing safety at La Tech to having some legal issues to dating Kim's daughter to Brittany Griner in the course of about a minute and a half. And I
Yeah.
couldn't catch up. I was out of breath. I was laughing so hard. I was laughing at the last part before when he started the next part. I couldn't catch up. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was great. All right, so it's this time. It's about that time, Neil. We are going the first order of business today. We are going to update the mask counter. Here we go, Neil. How many masks? We're at 72. We are now at what?
74.
74. So you've been in Alaska for, I don't know, what, 18 hours now, 19 hours, and you've seen two
That's about
masks.
right. Two masks.
All right,
So
where were those?
one. Let's see. I saw one driving. Happened to pass it. Saw it. Hit the clicker.
Were they outside in Alaska wearing a mask by themselves?
They were in a car by themselves.
You got to be in Alaska.
And then the other person was on the some sort of a work crew out at Lake Chena or Chena, whatever that's called. And she she had a mask on in a she was in like a work truck with the windows rolled down, had a mask on. It was around her chin, but it's a
Oh,
mask.
hey,
It's a
hey,
mask.
it's dealer's choice. You get there's nobody can argue.
Yeah. It's a mask. I was very disappointed, but it's a mask and I had to count it, so I clicked it.
Hey, it's fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Neil. So the journey, we started you off nice and easy. We sent you to the North Pole. You got to hang out with Santa Claus. You got to meet Johnny. Johnny was worth the whole trip. So we got to meet Johnny after at McCready and Siskey after dark. So here we go. It's time to reveal. What are your plans? How are we getting home? What is the next step of your journey? Because I'm kind of curious myself. What is the next? You haven't told me yet. I know you're kind of between a couple. Let me
Yep.
know what where are we going?
So I thought about taking the train from Fairbanks to Anchorage.
Okay.
It's a 12-hour train. It leaves at 9:45. I wasn't going to be able to do everything I wanted to do today, even though those things really weren't important. Like
All right.
I went to North Pole High School.
I
I,
got the video. I don't know if Cole's got it up, but that's great. All right, go ahead.
I went to Santa's place,
Yeah.
and we wanted to look for some stuff here in Fairbanks. And so I was going to have to spend another day in Fairbanks. Get up tomorrow because the train leaves at 9:45.
Oh
Take the
wow.
train to Anchorage, and then after 12 hours on a train, get on a plane. And I didn't want to do
Oh
that. That's
yeah.
a lot of That's a lot of sitting.
Okay.
And I mean, the bottom line is, I have a need to think about,
Okay.
and so I'm doing the red eye tonight.
What time
From
does that leave? I got to write all this down so I know we got a pod tonight.
It leaves around just before 9 o'clock out here.
Okay. 9.
I'm going, so I'll land
What
in
airline?
Chicago, United.
United? Any connections?
No, it's a direct flight,
All right, direct from United to Chicago. And what time do you land?
like at 6 a.m., a little after 6.
Body clock. All
Yeah.
right.
So From that point, I'm still kind of figuring some things out, looking at some things. I don't know if I've told you, but they have a baseball team in Chicago. It's called the Cubs.
Oh, you just gonna go hang out and go to the game?
They got some team from it.
I
It's a
do. I
team that
already
used to
know.
be
You
in
told me last
Boston.
night. Yeah, I
Used to be in
knew, dude.
Boston.
I knew
Then they moved to
somebody.
Milwaukee.
Somebody tagged you or something or posted something. I knew soon as whoever did that, I'm gonna find out who did that. I knew once they posted that. I said if Neal sees this post, he's gonna try to go to a Cubs game. A Cubs. It's not just a Cubs game. It's a Cubs Braves game. So you can rub it in my face.
They're playing. They're playing the Red Sox. No, no, no. It's not. That Boston's best team stayed in Boston, and then maybe they're playing the Brewers.
Okay.
No, wait.
I don't
No,
know.
no, no, no. Who was the team that left Boston, then left Milwaukee, and then ended up in Atlanta? Braves. Braves.
Yep.
They
Yep.
played the Braves in Chicago. So rumor is tickets are available.
I hope it gets rained out. That would be
So
great.
so I'm leaning towards probably taking a train from Chicago to Memphis,
Okay.
and then making you pick me up in Batesville and in Tupelo. I mean, that's what I'm thinking about. So I haven't decided yet. I thought about the train to Fairbanks and to Anchorage, and then I could have flown all the way back to Memphis, but I still had to take a bus, and I don't know, whatever. I hadn't completely decided. That's where I'm leaning.
Have you? So how are the train schedules
I'm
looking out of
clearly very
Chicago?
stressed out.
How are the
What's that?
train schedules looking out of Chicago?
It's a night train back into it gets into Memphis like at 6.
All right. I'll let the cat out of the bag a little bit here. I told Chase. Chase and I were talking privately the other day. I said I know Neal. I know that when he sees the three destinations that fly direct out of Fairbanks, it was like Minneapolis, Denver, and Chicago. I said he's going to pick Chicago. I said, but what he doesn't know is if he picks Chicago, he's red eyeing a bus or a train again. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
th-
the train leaves Memphis, leaves Chicago like at 8 o'clock,
yeah.
something like that. So I'm really stressed out about this right now.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell you're stressed. How many beers have you drank?
This is my first one. Um, it probably won't be my last today,
All
but again, I'm very stressed. This is hard.
right, so yeah, here's the key question: is like, so if you're on the plane, if you're going to the airport, at what point you got a red eye and you got to get out and function tomorrow? At what point do you turn off the booze tonight, or you just booze it all the way up?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, someone's fine. She probably hates me right now because she's doing this show from her bar and being loud.
Did you tell her what you were doing at least?
I haven't told the bartender what I'm doing, so
Hey, did you tell her? Did you tell her that you
she's
cover
in
Ole
the dark.
Miss? Did you tell her that you cover Ole Miss for a living?
I'm supposed to tell you that I cover Ole Miss. I'm on a podcast. I lost a bet, and so that's why I'm in Alaska right now. Would, would you like to say hello to the show?
Hey, how are you? She don't want to participate.
No. So yeah, I told her I cover Ole Miss. So there you go.
That's not for me. That's for your people. That's for your people. You're supposed to tell everybody that because you're at her establishment, so you know what she does for a living.
Thank you.
So, what kind of beer are you drinking today?
This is a Voodoo IPA from Fairbanks, local. Remember I told you last night, I always buy local. Like if I'm in Memphis, I get Memphis beers. If I'm
Okay.
in Jackson, I get Jackson beers. If I'm in Fairbanks, I get Fairbanks beers.
All right. I probably already know the question of this. How close are you keeping up with sports world topics today?
Sports World.
Yeah. Hey, something that you'll find interesting, Neal. Jaden Rashada has sued Billy Napier and the head booster at Florida and the Florida Collective over his $13.85 million contract.
It's a matter of time.
Sued them. So there's some
So,
interesting points. I'm not a lawyer, obviously. There's some interesting points I want to know, like because I didn't know this, but I thought this was interesting. On December the 6th, the contract was terminated. But we saw him, you and I, and you had a conversation with a kid on December the 17th, and he was still in full Florida gear, the whole deal, even though the contract was terminated on December the 6th.
did he know it had been terminated?
I don't know. I don't. These are things I don't know. So I guess allegedly, I don't know, but and then he wants to sue over, I guess, promises that they made him. Hey, if you sign here, we'll give you this and all that stuff. I just don't know. Can you sue off of promises? You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out, though. So I figured you
Well,
would find that interesting.
I mean, you and I've talked about this, right? Everyone's making, I hate the word NIL, but I'll use it. They're making NIL promises in the recruiting pitch, and then they're trying to nuance the contracts with monthly and when did the season end. And it's one of the reasons that it's one of the reasons I'm really cynical about the whole collective bargaining thing and the whole salary cap thing. I keep I keep waiting to find out. Well, okay, great, but who's going to represent the kids? How's that? How do the kids sign off on who their union rep is?
Yeah.
And they're going to sign a collective bargaining agreement like they do in the NFL or Major League Baseball or the NBA or the NHL, where you have a very specific deal that's in place that's negotiated between the players union and the owners. No one's explained the framework of how that's going to happen at the college level to the point where I buy it.
Hey, one you'll find this interesting too. One tidbit that was kind of just stuck in the article. He had to pay, so he had committed to Miami, and the deal was for like $9 million or something like that, 9.5, and he had to pay John Ruiz $150,000 to get out of the contract. So there's some interesting things there.
There's a lot there.
Lot there.
Someone's going to have to explain it to me like I'm five, where I understand it, because I do this all the time, right? And to Lane's credit, he stopped saying it, but Lane used to say, "Hey, it's pro sports," and I would always want to go, except for the fact that it's not,
Yeah,
except for the
no,
fact that there's not a negotiated deal between the players union and the owners,
right.
where there's nothing to dispute. The contract has very specific terms and links, and you know how it works. And college athletics to this point doesn't have that, Tyler.
No, it's all messed up. It's messed up. So, all right, so we're gonna go to Chicago tonight. Overnight. I guess when by the time everybody wakes up in the morning, you will be in Chicago. That's a lot of flying, boss.
It's a lot of flying.
And then you haven't even hit the rough part yet.
Yeah.
You're still like enjoying this for a minute. I want to see your face about if you're going to take a train out of Chicago. Depends. It doesn't matter. What you're going to have to take a red eye something, whether it's a Greyhound or the. I want to see the
I mean,
eight
it's a red
hours.
eye tonight.
I want to see the 8 hours into a train ride or the. I
It's
want to
it's
see that.
it's
I
it's
want to see
gonna be a
that one.
red eye tonight. I mean, I mean, it's a 6.5 hour flight, so I'm gonna try to sleep most of it.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling if you're going to Chicago, your mass counter is going to blow up tomorrow.
Yeah,
I have a
gotta feel it's
strong
good
feeling.
because I'll probably have a day to kill in Chicago,
Oh,
maybe a day
oh,
and a half to kill in Chicago. I mean, it sucks
Chicago.
for me.
Don't they require masks in Chicago?
I won't have one.
That would only be fitting, is if you should interview somebody while you interview someone with a mask on while they have a mask on. You need to wear one at the same time.
You know, I might be able to have lunch tomorrow at Al Cheval in Chicago.
What the hell is that?
Best cheeseburger you'll ever put in your mouth.
Okay. So
Incredible.
I love how when you're at home, I can't get you to eat a piece of grilled chicken, but you go on the road, you're just crushing beers and hamburgers and fish and chips, and you with no guilt.
I ran 7 miles this morning. I'm good. I did a little sprinting even.
You low key thought you were about to get chased by a bear, didn't you?
Like I told you, I'm 99% sure it was an otter, but the 1% of it being a bear was just enough. I wasn't going to go get closer to it and go, hey, what are you? Because it was kind of swimming towards me and it was kind of looking at me. And I'm like,
I
that's
mean,
it, I'm gone.
if it was swimming towards you, how could you not see what it was?
Because it was down in the water and I was up on the walking path and there were some trees between us.
All right. Hey, we got a couple questions from the chat for you. Connor wants to know, where does Neal rank the Alaska IPAs amongst others?
Um, it's not as good as the one in Idaho last year, but it's pretty high. It's really good.
Okay. What's your favorite one?
My favorite one that I ever had was the one in Boise last
No,
year.
the one that the favorite one that you've had here. Do you remember?
Oh, the Voodoo. I'm gonna go to actually. It's later this afternoon. I'm gonna go to Voodoo Brewery, check it out
Okay.
in Fairbanks. Because why not?
Why not? Hey, what? So I know you've talked to Laura. What is she saying about the trip so far? How's she holding up? What is she saying about it?
She has liked some of the pictures. In fact, she and I have talked about making an Alaskan trip of our own,
Okay.
doing the train from Fairbanks to Anchorage. We're 12 hours on the train where you can have a few glasses of wine or whatever. It'd be a lot more fun with her than it would be by myself. Um,
Glad
so
we're here to help. We're here to help. McCready and Siskey,
I
we're here
think
to help.
she's gone from you're an idiot to I'd like to go see it.
And then she's gonna go back to your being an idiot once you have to get on the train and the bus.
Yeah, I mean that's a default setting, but yes.
Default setting. Okay. All right. Well, we got 163 in here right now. I was actually surprised. And thank everybody that listened last night. I think I had 130, 125, 130 live at like 12:30 in the morning. That was insane. Um.
Both of my
So,
girls, both of my girls got messages from friends going, "What the hell is your dad doing?" Last night.
oh yeah, that was great. What was your response there?
I'm like, it's a long story. Just tell them it's a long story.
It's a long story. We'll tell you later. All right. Let's see if we got any more questions in the chat. A lot of debate on that. I guess that's it, man. What we'll do is we'll get together. We've been on for about 23, 24 minutes. We'll do another here about 2 minutes, wrap this up. We'll go again at some point. So you're taking off at 9. I'm trying to get my calendar here. So 9, if you're taking off at 9, hell, that's
Midnight your time.
midnight our time. 7:10. Even if you get to the airport at 7:10. So what time you thinking right now? When you get to the airport?
Yeah, I'll get to the airport early enough to do it where it's easy, we're stress free. I'll make it a little
So
easier on you so you won't be up so late.
well, I'll be up anyway, but I didn't go to bed at like 2:30 last night. Um, you
What's
don't you
happening
don't.
in the what's happening in the SEC tournament?
So LSU won this morning pretty convincingly over Georgia, uh, and right now we have a shootout between the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Is 7-5 in the top of the fifth. South
Oh
Carolina's
wow.
ahead. So and
So
I
Ole
got the
Miss plays
ACC on. I got
Ole
ACC
Miss
turning
plays
on the
late
bottom.
tonight. Is that right?
They play at 8.
Uh,
They play at 8, or allegedly at 8. You know how that goes with the tournaments
it'd
and
be later
stuff.
than that.
Could be
Yeah.
later, right? So, all right. Do you want to tentatively, so we can tell the fans and all that stuff? We'll have a McCready and Siskey After Dark episode 2 from the airport tonight. About you don't play about you don't plan for like 7 your time.
Sure.
You will do 7 your time. That way you can get done and get on the plane. We'll do 7, so it'll be 10 o'clock. We'll plan for 10 o'clock Central Time. McCready and Siskey After Dark Part 2, Part 2. And if you can find Johnny at the airport, that'd be great.
I don't think he'll be there.
He's probably still asleep.
Hey, probably.
He's probably still asleep. All right, brother. Well, enjoyed it. Enjoy your fish and chips. Enjoy your Fairbanks. Get you to the airport, and we'll check back in with you at that's 7 hours from now. And then just to make sure everybody knows, Cole's got all the videos Neal's posting up on social media. So on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, you can go to McCready and Siskey. Look us up. We'll be there to see all Neal's adventures throughout the day. Also, super thanks to the guys, Eric specifically at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning. They've made all this possible. Uh, I know he's enjoying it. He's getting a bunch of calls. So make sure we're rock and rolling and supporting those guys. And then we'll rock and roll. All right. We'll see you guys at 10 o'clock Central tonight for McCready and Siskey After Dark Part 2. I expect you to be so intoxicated that you barely get through security by that time.
Got to get a rental car back, so I got to be careful.
All right. But you can, hey, just Uber, park it in Uber.
It's a thought.
Park it in Uber. That's how you do it. All right, brother. Be good, man.
All right, man. Be
All
good.
right. See you.